The party was in full swing, a sea of laughter, clinking glasses, and music that pulsed through the lavish penthouse. She was there, standing by the bar, the center of attention as usual, laughing at jokes I couldn't hear from across the room. Her eyes sparkled dangerously under the chandelier light, scanning the room, charming everyone she spoke to. I watched silently, sipping my drink, noting every subtle movement, every playful tilt of her head that she thought was innocent. She had always been fearless, untouchable even, making others melt with her smile, using it as a weapon without remorse. I remembered the first time I met her. Back then, her confidence was intoxicating, almost magnetic, and I had been drawn to it, unable to resist her charm. But tonight was different. Tonight, I wasn't just a bystander to her flirtations. Tonight, I had made a choice. Tonight, I had a plan. She caught my gaze across the room and smirked, the kind of smirk that said, "I know I'm irresistible, and I know you know it." A thrill ran through me, but instead of walking toward her immediately like I might have before, I let the tension build. I allowed her to circulate, allowed her to touch shoulders and whisper to others, basking in the attention she so confidently demanded. It wasn't long before a man approached her, a tall, confident type, and she leaned into him, laughing in a way that was loud enough for everyone to notice, loud enough for me to notice. My jaw tightened, not from jealousy but from focus. This was the moment. She thought she was in control, as always. She thought no one could ever corner her, ever truly see her beneath the charm. I moved deliberately, my steps slow, calculated. I reached the bar just as she excused herself from the man, turning gracefully in my direction, expecting nothing. I slid into the space beside her, letting the air of casual confidence wash over me, pretending this was mere coincidence. "Funny seeing you here," I said, my voice low, just above the music, carrying a hint of challenge. She tilted her head, surprised, the first hint of hesitation crossing her perfectly poised expression. "Oh, is it?" she said, her tone playful, trying to mask the flicker of uncertainty in her eyes. "I didn't realize you'd be attending tonight." I smiled, faint, enigmatic. "Neither did I," I said, taking her hand, not in the possessive, desperate way she might have expected from someone who had admired her from afar, but with a calm certainty, a silent command that she hadn't felt before. Her confidence wavered for the first time tonight. She pulled her hand back slightly but didn't move away. I could see the internal struggle, the surprise, the calculation, the realization that maybe, just maybe, she wasn't the one holding all the cards. "I've noticed you enjoy being the center of attention," I said, leaning just enough to meet her gaze directly, letting the words sink in. "It's quite captivating." I didn't smile. I let her hear the subtle edge in my tone. Not disapproval, but an awareness that cut deeper than any flirtation. She laughed lightly, a little too quickly, and glanced around the room as if seeking an escape. "Well, it's a party. Isn't that what people do?" Her voice was sharp now, not playful. I leaned closer, letting my presence fill her space, my words deliberate and measured. "Yes, but most people enjoy attention because it hides something," I said softly. "Something they don't want to show." Her eyes widened imperceptibly. This was new territory. No one had ever approached her like this, no one had challenged her charm, questioned her control, or seen past the mask she wore so effortlessly. I wasn't just speaking, I was making her face the truth she'd buried beneath laughter and teasing smiles. "You," she started, her voice a whisper, but I cut her off gently, holding her gaze. "You think you know me?" "I think I see you," I said simply, holding her stare, letting the room and the music fade into background noise. "All of you. The part you don't show anyone. The part that makes this fearlessness a shield." Her smile faltered, and her breath caught. I saw the cracks in her facade, the hesitance, the tiny shift in posture. For the first time tonight, she was off balance, unsure. I let a beat pass, then added, softer this time, "And sometimes, that part is more beautiful than the mask you wear for everyone else." She stared at me, caught between incredulity and fascination. Her defenses, usually impenetrable, were lowering, just a fraction, but enough. Enough for me to see the real her beneath the flirtatious exterior. She began again, faltering. Words seemed to escape her. The bravado that had been her armor all night was gone, replaced by something raw, something real. I didn't push further. I simply offered my hand again, this time fully inviting, and waited. Slowly, almost tentatively, she took it. It wasn't a conquest, it wasn't a game. It was acknowledgement. A silent agreement that the rules had shifted, that tonight, she wasn't the one leading the dance. As we stepped away from the bar together, her hand in mine, I could feel the tension dissolve, not entirely, but enough to know that the fearless flirt, the queen of the room, had met someone who saw her, truly saw her, and it had changed everything. The night didn't end with grand gestures or dramatic confessions. There was no shouting or confrontation, no public humiliation. It ended quietly, in a corner of the terrace, with her leaning just a little closer, and me letting her for once feel the power of being observed, not admired. I had made my move, not by force, not by arrogance, but by simply being the calm force she had never expected. And for the first time, she didn't laugh, didn't tease, didn't deflect, she just looked at me, silently acknowledging that the game had shifted. And in that quiet moment, I knew the fearless flirt would never be quite the same again.